You know, Orwell analogies are terribly overused these days, but there's a reason for that. Well, there's two reasons. One is that 1984 is one of about 3 books that the average American has actually read all the way through. The other 2 are Harry Potter books. But the second reason is that so much of what we're experiencing today really was prophesied by Orwell in 1984, and even more so, in my opinion, in his allegory, Animal Farm. Things tend to happen that even a more widely read person cannot help but compare to one of those 2 works. And what else are we supposed to do when the Biden administration, as they did this week, literally creates a ministry of truth? Sure, I mean, they aren't calling it that, of course. Instead, they've come up with an even more Orwellian name than what Orwell chose. Their name is the Disinformation Governance Board. Now, this new board will exist within the Department of Homeland Security, a department that shouldn't exist and which has, since its conception, been responsible for many of the federal government's most insidious civil rights abuses. Yet another reason to thank George W. Bush for his contributions to massively expanding the federal government. The head of this new board is a leftist ideologue and activist named Nina Jankowicz, who proudly announced her new position in a tweet yesterday, which you can see here. She posted, "Here's my official portrait to grab your attention. Now that I've got it, a huge focus of our work, and indeed one of the key reasons the board was established, is to maintain the department's commitment to protecting free speech, privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties." And then for whatever reason, she includes a photo of Quentin Tarantino. The interesting thing to note about this Nina character is that she's not only a leftist, but also, and these 2 things often come together as a package deal, of course, completely insane. As evidenced by this video, which has been making the rounds since Tucker Carlson played it on his show last night, but if you didn't see it, I think it's worth watching because this is a woman who's going to be at the Department of Homeland Security in charge of disinformation, and here's what she's all about.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
This is perhaps not quite as embarrassing as the BDSM dog fetishist that Biden tapped for a federal post a few months ago, but it's pretty close. Not surprisingly, Nina is also a proponent of the words are violence school of thought. She has a book coming out apparently called How to Be a Woman Online. Don't ask her to define what a woman is, though. I mean, she's just the information czar. She's not a biologist. And she tweeted this excerpt from the book, quote, "Men burst violently into your mentions and your life like the Kool-Aid man, demanding your attention, hawking opinions that they believe are unarguably manifestly correct and indispensable." Violently. Yes, men are committing violence by responding to your tweets. Sounds a bit like Taylor Lorenz. This is a common theme. And this is men, of course, just men. Women never do this, but men also commit the sin of thinking their opinions are correct. Now, never mind that literally every human on earth thinks their opinions are correct. This is an accusation made against me all the time. "Oh, Matt, you always act like you think your opinions are correct." Well, of course, if I didn't think they were correct, they wouldn't be my opinion. By definition, it's something that I think is correct. Perhaps most importantly of all, though, Nina, who will be in charge of identifying and censoring disinformation, has already made clear what the term disinformation means to her. It means any information that is politically inconvenient to Democrats, which is why she labeled the Hunter laptop story disinformation back in 2020. She was one of, like every other Democrat, saying that was disinformation. Turns out it was 100% true. That point about the Hunter Biden laptop story was made to Jen Psaki during the White House press briefing yesterday, and here's how she responded to that. Listen.
She had previously called the Hunter Biden laptop a Trump campaign product, seeming to discredit its validity or validity of reporting surrounding that. How can you assuage concerns of people who are looking at this person who's been appointed to this position and wondering if she's going to be able to accurately judge misinformation now that a lot of that reporting has been proven to be factual in some ways?
Well, I don't have any comments on the laptop, but what I can tell you is that it sounds like the objective of the board is to prevent disinformation and misinformation from traveling around the country in a range of communities. I'm not sure who opposes that effort.
She doesn't have any comments about the laptop angle, that's the question, right? So I love that from Jen Psaki, where someone asks a question and her response is, well, I don't have any comments about the question you just asked, so instead I'll make a point that's irrelevant. She says the board will prevent disinformation and misinformation from traveling around the country in a range of communities, and she's not sure who opposes that effort. Well, many of us do, and let me explain why. First of all, note how they are calling it. I think this is important. Okay, they are calling it the Disinformation Board and not the Misinformation Board. Now, even that small nuance is significant because it adds an extra layer of editorializing. Misinformation is simply information that's wrong. Disinformation is information that's wrong intentionally. So all disinformation is misinformation, but not all misinformation is disinformation. Disinformation is when there's an intent to deceive. The government now has claimed the authority not only to be the arbiter of which information is correct and incorrect, but also of the motivations behind the people spreading the alleged incorrect information. When you call something disinformation, you are claiming to know both that the information is wrong and also why it's wrong. This is the power the Biden administration is claiming for itself, and it can't end well. I mean, it's designed to not end well. It never does end well when a government declares itself the final judge of truth, which is not the government's job. It's also not the government's job to control the spread of information. It's supposed to control other things, and the spread of other things like immigration, crime. Okay, those are the two big ones that it should be trying to control. But this regime has little interest in that. To this regime, the greatest enemy is not crime, not anything like that. It's information. And because we live in the information age, when the average person processes more information in a day than previous generations may have encountered in a year or a decade, that means that the efforts to control and stifle information will have to be far-reaching and severe and oppressive. Just think about what tyrannical regimes in the past have done to control the flow of information before the internet, before modern media. Now think about what this one will have to do, given how ubiquitous information is. Now, the truth is that they will not be able to staunch the flow completely or monitor all of it, though they will no doubt try. They're not going to be able to do it. Ultimately, the most effective tactic they can take and have already taken against inconvenient information, which again is what they mean by disinformation. There's the actual definition of disinformation, which is incorrect information meant to deceive. But that's the actual definition. But for them, that's not what it really is. This is inconvenient information. But the main tactic here is to convince people not to trust their own powers of perception, their own common sense. We see this all the time with the left. We saw it all throughout COVID. Trust the experts, they said, even if the experts contradict themselves 10 times in the same sentence. Still, just accept whatever is the most recent thing the experts have said. Lots of people, sadly, are not only willing to do this, but they find, I think, some comfort in it. The fire hydrant of information gushing directly into your brain can get exhausting and overwhelming at times. And after a while, people look to outsource the task of processing and forming conclusions to some sort of outside authority. Government's more than happy to provide that service. Now it's created a whole department for that express purpose. Don't bother thinking, they say. We'll take care of that. We'll tell you what to think. And then they'll pat you on the head and give you a lollipop, send you on your way. The government has already infiltrated nearly every aspect of your life. The last thing it can take a hold of is your mind, if you let it, which you shouldn't. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.